It is officially the end of my first full day in Colorado. And so much stuff has happened in the last couple of days that I just want to make a little video log so I don't forget this crazy, crazy, crazy shit. So I'm gonna tell the story of my trip to Colorado so far. Left my mom's house in Shaftsburg around 8:30 p.m. on Thanksgiving. Drove straight through till about partway through Iowa, like 4 in the morning. I had to take a nap. I pulled over in a rest stop. It was hard to see. I was getting blurry. Slept for like 2 hours, kept going, took another nap partway through the day. Just Nebraska was a big, flat, windy, dusty state. I lost the top to my Tupperware container in Nebraska. I get to Denver, anyway. And my friend Hank, that's who I'm going to meet. I haven't seen Hank since I was locked up in Texas. And I get to the trailer park, and he sent me the message, said lot 47. And I couldn't get a hold of Hank. Hank's phone is broken, and he got locked out of his Facebook, and he made another Facebook, but he wasn't seeing the messages. I don't know, it was weird. So I just showed up, like, fuck it, I'm gonna find this guy. And I get there, and I find lot 46, and I find lot 48 and lot 49, but there's no lot 47. It's just the end of the road is where lot 47 would be. There's nothing there. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, did I just drive to Colorado for no reason? But he had given me his dad's phone number. So I called his dad. His dad answered, a nice Louisiana gentleman. He looks up a phone number for me. I call it. Didn't work. It was his work phone. But they were like, well, he's not scheduled today. And I'm like, all right, that gives me a little bit of hope, but that wasn't the right one. So I call his dad back. He gives me a different phone number. I call that. Hank answers. He's like, oh, 47. I'm at 49. My bad. So I'm like, all right. So I go inside, and this is like a potential place that I was like maybe going to be renting. And it's like there's other people living in the other half of the trailer, and Hank's just in this one little part that's just a bedroom, a bathroom, and that's it. And just like a microwave and a mini fridge. And I'm like, oh man, like I'm definitely can't stay here. This is shitty. And he's smoking cigarettes inside. I hate cigarette smoke. So he has his landlord, who's my landlord now, come over, and he's gonna take us to see this trailer in Colorado Springs. So we drive to Colorado Springs, and they're like, they're smoking this bowl of weed, but I'm like, I think it's weird because they don't offer it to me. They never offered me their weed, and I'm like, that's weird. And I didn't want to smoke it anyway, but it still seemed odd. Turns out, long story short, it's fucking fake weed. It's called Mamba. It's like one of those things they spray fucking chemicals from China on, and you smoke it. So they're smoking that the whole way down to Colorado Springs, and I'm following behind them. And we get to the trailer, and he had mentioned something about he let somebody stay in the trailer because it was Thanksgiving. So we get to the trailer, and they like ran inside a trailer, and I didn't see which one. I had to park up the road. I'm like, hey, where you at? You know, I called him, and he's like, hold on. And then finally Hank comes out, and he's like, yeah, there's like people in there, and they're trying to argue with him and give him money and stuff. And I'm like, what? Like, what the fuck? What do you mean there's people in there? He was bringing me to show me this trailer, and now there's people that are staying there that he knows? Like, what? So finally he comes out, and he's like, do you have money? And I'm like, yeah, I have money. And he's like, all right, well, I'm going to need the deposit tonight then. And I'm like, what? He's like, well, I got to pay these people something. And I'm like, what? I don't have a lot of options, really, you know. So I go inside, and I look around. It's got electricity. The stove doesn't work. The hot water heater doesn't work. He shows me that that's because it's got this outdated fuse box, and he's going to put in this new fuse box. And he says he's going to do that ASAP. So I'm like, all right, like, that's step one. We're going to have to get that done. The sink doesn't work. The shower doesn't work. I'm like, look, these are top priorities. And he's got a bunch of shit in here that's his shit. So anyway, so I had to stand in here. I paid him half the deposit and like $100 for the rest of this month's rent. And I'm standing here while these fucking people are like packing their shit up, and they seem weird. They're just weird, and like Hank tries to tell me that this one dude's on meth, and I really believe he is. But honestly, I don't know what fucking drugs these other motherfuckers are on either. Honestly, so I'm like, what the fuck? So they get all their shit packed up, and he's like, he says something weird. Ralph, my new landlord is Ralph. He says, I'm really sorry about this. I hope I can still rely on you for, you know. And the dude was like, nope, don't hit me up. Just don't even contact me. And I'm like, well, you know, and I didn't ever call him on the exact terminology he just said, but I feel like maybe that's where he gets his dope or something. So he had said something about, he told him he could stay when he was drunk. That's what Ralph said. Ralph said, I told him that they could stay here for Thanksgiving when I was drunk. But it turns out, and the other dude said it was because he was on dope. That's the exact words that came out of the dude's mouth that's getting kicked out. He's like, oh, you just lied to me when you're on dope. That's the type of person you are. I'm a man of my word. You're not a man of your word. And he had to give these people money. He had to give them $300 that they had put as a deposit. But I guess the guy had put the deposit down or something, which isn't the full deposit, so it's just a random amount of money. And had put this amount of money down so he could rent the place, and then he went to jail, and then he got out of jail, and he asked if he could move in. And dude, I think Elo just threw up all these beans. We'll get into the beans part of the story. Elo, leave that alone. Yep, he just threw up a bunch of beans. Anyway, okay, so this dude had given him the money for this weird deposit that wasn't enough for the full deposit, went to jail, and then got out and asked if he could stay, and dude said he could stay, and then, but there was some, I don't know what it was, but I have no idea, honestly, but something's funky. So anyway, these people get all packed up, and they leave, and we're like, all right, are they gone? Like, it took a while, and I talked to the dude a little bit, and he was like, yeah, I wish you the best of luck in doing business with him. Well, I don't know, I think it's going to go differently for me, because I'm not a fucking dope head, but it's still definitely going to be weird and difficult to, you know, make sure this guy does everything. But like I said, don't have a lot of options. So I get moved in, spend the night, I sleep on the floor, got like a sleeping bag and a blanket and stuff. Go looking for jobs in the morning. So then I came home, and Ralph texted me. He was like, you gotta go talk to Nina, you gotta fill out an application. And I'm like, alright, you know, whatever, I guess that makes sense somewhat, although I'm already living here, but... So he said, Nina's in lot 4. So I go down there, and she didn't answer, whatever. So I'm like, all right. Go and take Elo, and we went out to the Garden of the Gods. It's these big 100, 200 foot tall giant rocks sticking out of the ground. It's fucking awesome. We went hiking around out there. And we come back, and I see her car. Her car is like this... It's pretty nice. It's like an orange. I want to say it's like an Impala or something, but it's like black and orange. And it said something about like Top Witch on it or something. And I was thinking like, that's weird. Halloween's over, you know, when I first saw it, when I walked by. And so I saw her car parked right out there, and she was standing in front of it, right in front of my place. So I get out, and she's like, are you the guy who's living here? I'm like, yeah. She's like, you weren't supposed to be living here. Ralph didn't tell me. Ralph's not supposed to be subleasing this. It says it in his lease agreement and all this and that. And I'm like, well, I didn't know any of that. She's like, you have to fill out a rental application, da-da-da-da-da. I go, and she said I could come over tonight and talk to her. So I just go inside, and I fill out this rental application. The thing I was a little concerned about is that I don't actually have a job right now, but I got good credit, and I got good rental history, and I'm not a sex offender, so whatever. I go over to her house, and she's talking to this other kid that moved in the trailer next to mine. He's like 22 or something like that, but he looks pretty young. And she's talking to him, and he like bought this trailer, didn't get a title for it or something, and there's something crazy going on with that, and he's not supposed to be living there, and I'm not supposed to be living here, but she's gonna make it work because she's cool, whatever. So he leaves, and I go and I follow her inside her trailer, And the first thing, she like turns around and she's like, oh, let me tell you, I'm a Wiccan, I'm a witch, I'm a mind reader. I forget, like, there's so many things. She's like, I'm really into oils. And I'm like, oh. She's like, these are my cats. I put spells on my cats. She's like, I need to put a spell on that one. I put a spell on this one because this one wasn't listening. So I put a spell on. Watch. Don't do that. And he like stopped and looked at us and she was like, see, they understand our language. Oh my goodness. So her name is Nina, and so I sit down and talk to her, and I'm supposed to be talking about like living here or something, but she's just telling me all these stories, and she was in prison, she used to smoke crack. she was in MS-13 before it was MS-13, and I don't even understand because she's not even Salvadorian, and it's so confusing. She's like, we weren't a gang, we were a family, but I'm a Trace and da-da-da, and I'm like, I don't even got no comment on that one. And yeah, and I just played it off, you know. She asked me if I knew what Wiccan was. I was like, oh yeah, I think my aunt's a Wiccan. My aunt's not really a Wiccan. And she's like telling me how she's gonna help me out, and she's trying to get me a job with her husband. He's like this Mexican dude, he doesn't really even speak any English, and she's gonna give me a job with him as a janitor, making $10 an hour part-time. I mean, I might take it, honestly, but I might take it and then quit it. But then again, if I piss them off, that might not be a good move. So all of that happened, and then I come home. I'm leaving something out. She kept telling me things that were against the rules in the park, and then telling me about all these people who don't follow every rule that she's telling me about. It was so funny. We walked outside. She was like, there's a rule. She was like, do you see this part of this trailer that's over here that comes off the side of it? She was like, that's an add-on, and that's against the rules. And I was just like, looking like, but it's there. He's doing it. She's like, people do it anyway. I'm like, alright. Okay, so anyway, I get home, and I walk in the room, and Elo had got into my bag, one of my suitcase things that I brought, and pulled out a full bag of bean soup, uncooked beans, just mixed beans, half a bag of uncooked black beans, a full bag of uncooked lentils, and a full bag of uncooked rice, and he ate like most of it. Uncooked fucking beans. And there's just rice and beans all on my carpet. I'm over here fucking picking it out while I'm making this video. I tried to vacuum it all up. This fucking shag carpet's hard to vacuum. And now he's over here in the corner of the room throwing up all these fucking uncooked beans that he fucking ate. What the fuck? This is day one, people. Day one. Okay. I just got done cleaning up like 6 piles of beans that my dog threw up. Excuse me, my allergies are going crazy. Forgot one story about the park manager lady, Nina. She told me about this girl that came, and she was teaching her. Nina was teaching this girl to be a witch, and then the girl stole from her, and she was like, I don't ever want to deal with you when you pay rent. You have your boyfriend come pay rent for you or whatever. I'm like, alright. She was like, and I thought about putting a spell on her, but that's against the rules of being a Wiccan. You can't put a bad spell on somebody. So I didn't. But then her house caught on fire. Just from my thoughts. You can't make this stuff up.